Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going through something about the mythic magic charms for the new season, Waves of Intrigue. They will actually be taking the place a bit of the seasonal skills because they did mention in the recent dev notes yesterday that seasonal skills will not be reappearing in Waves of Intrigue season, but from the mythic magic charm bonuses, it's kind of like a seasonal skill that is going to be provided to the different heroes you equip it to. And I found all of this information from the AFK Analytica Discord server, which I'll leave a link to it in the description. They have a lot of the latest news on the AFK journey. Okay, so we're going to bleed it off. It has all the heroes listed out with what their charm bonuses are going to be once you get to their mythic magic charms. So first of all, we have Carolina and Arden. Increases the target's damage taken by 16% for 6 seconds and grants 30% attack boost for 6 seconds when inflicting control effects on that target. This is pretty much perfectly catered to their kits. They both have a lot of crowd control. Increasing the target damage taken is going to be pretty powerful because Arden has an AoE ultimate with crowd control, and all of the enemies that they're going to be taking increased damage, and also granting them a 30% attack boost when inflicting control effects. They're going to be dealing more damage themselves. So overall, this is very strong for both Arden and Carolina. They're going to be more dominant in Supreme Arena, and already they were a pretty good option to always be used over there. Also keep in mind that this will only be seasonal content where these mythic magic charms will apply, so this will not be for regular arena, for example. But in Dream Realm, these effects are going to apply, and that's why certain heroes here seem like they're going to be even better in Dream Realm than they were before. Okay, so Cassadee, Alsa, Satrana, and Mirael will all get this effect with their mythic magic charm bonus. Restore 30 energy per second in battle. Grants 25% damage bonus and increases energy recovered per second to 40 for 8 seconds after casting ultimate. So this is like massive energy generation for these heroes, and after casting ultimate you're going to be getting 40 extra per second for 8 seconds, which is in total 320, and grants them specifically a damage bonus. So Elsa is already a pretty strong Supreme Arena hero, and Cassadee can be decent in certain boss fights, and some people even run her in Supreme Arena, so that's probably where we can expect these to do well. And then Damian, Hewynn, Smokey, Koko. So Damian, Hewynn, top tier PvP heroes, Smokey for Dream Realm, and Koko as well for both PvP and Dream Realm. Grants 16% damage reduction and 16 energy on hit. For 45 seconds to the ally place one tile in front of the carrier when a battle starts. The hero also gains a 350% shield for the rest of the battle. This is pretty strong because usually you will have a hero in front of these. These are support heroes in the back line. Definitely for PvP, for example, giving it to your tank, giving them damage reduction, and energy on hit can allow them to cast their ultimate a little bit faster. And the shield for the tankiness, or you could decide to give this, for example, buff to a Lily May, have Damian in the back, Lily May in front of the Damian, and also soul pack the Lily May, and then she's even more protected with the damage reduction effect. So yeah, this is looking like Supreme Arena, but also for Dream Realm. You will be able to have Smokey give the hero in front of him damage reduction and energy on hit, which could be given even to your damage dealer. It doesn't have to be on a tank for Dream Realm. Okay, moving on to the next list, we have increases a target's damage taken by 12%. This is a really powerful, so this skill right here is going to be pretty powerful. Increases a target's damage taken by 12% for 6 seconds after the hero deals damage to the target. At 20 and 50 seconds into a battle, the damage taken rises to 15% and 18% respectively. So, for example, if you're running Thoran, Temesia in your Dream Realm team, which standardly Thoran is run in quite a lot, and Temesia as well. They're gonna be providing a bonus 12% damage taken by the boss, and at 20 and 50 seconds is gonna rise up to 15% and 18% because they're gonna continuously be dealing damage to the boss. So even though this lasts for 6 seconds, they're gonna keep reapplying it. Already Thoran has Soul Plunder to increase the damage boss receives by 17%. Now he's going to be potentially up to 35% bonus damage taken by the boss, which is even more than Rainier is providing. I don't think Rainier is going to be replaced because Rainier also has a really strong buff with these mythic magic charms, but Thoran is going to be even more meta in the Dream Realm because this is a bigger buff, and even Temesia already was good in certain Dream Realm bosses, and she's going to be maybe even used in others. Okay, looking at the next one, there are a lot of heroes here, a lot of rogue heroes. When HP ratio first falls below 35%, dispel most debuffs and gain 80 haste for 6 seconds, additionally gain 60 life drain during this period. So this is like a protection effect, and also it will ramp up damage. For example, Vala, Lily May, if they're going to dispel debuffs and gain 80 haste is 80% bonus attack speed and 80% faster skill casting. This is going to last for 6 seconds, and they also have life drain during this massive amount of damage output stage, so they're going to heal back up a lot. So this is better for like the strength of Lily May and Vala. Could even be usable in Dream Realm depending on if Lily May gets taken down below 35%, which she definitely can in certain bosses. And Eironn, this is good for his own survivability and charging up his next ultimate faster if he drops below 35% health, because that haste will allow him to charge up his ultimate faster with the bonus attack speed. Okay, so overall very strong skills. Also, this applies to Silvina, who is also a top tier PvP offense hero, especially for Supreme Arena. Then we have increased physical and magical defense by 24% for each enemy within 2 tiles. Also increases vitality by 35, plus an extra 5 vitality for each enemy within 2 tiles. So this is for a tank-like effect. As of right now, what I'm expecting is for Supreme Arena, Granny and Dunlingr are going to be still top tier. Granny is pretty much top tier right now, and Dunlingr I'm expecting to be also top tier. So overall, this skill will just make these heroes an even more effective tank. If there are a lot of enemies within 2 tiles, so basically if the enemy is mainly a melee oriented team or a lot of close range heroes, you're going to be gaining even more defenses from this, and also a huge amount of vitality, which increases the effectiveness of your shields and healing. So this is just going to make Granny more unkillable, Dunlingr more difficult to deal with, and Lucius and even Lumont, they're just going to be better tanks. But they don't offer any other, like the seasonal skill this time, which offer the damage and haste buff from Lucius. That won't be happening anymore. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have, this one is also pretty insane. Increases all damage except normal attack damage by 45% for 60 seconds. Grants the hero 35 crit for all non-normal attacks. So this is going to be applied to Talene, Parisa, Viperian, who are all damage dealers based on their skill damage. So this is going to increase all of their damage other than normal attack damage, which already, that was not a major part of any of these heroes' kits. So this is just a major benefit towards where their damage was coming from, which was mainly their skills and ultimate. 45% damage boost is no joke. Already Talene, if you can heal her and allow her to continuously cast her ultimate, can get off so much damage in a fight. 45% boosted damage is going to make her much more competitive in a lot of Dream Realm bosses. Like, I definitely foresee that she will be one of the top options with this buff in a lot of Dream Realm bosses, and also is going to grant 35 crit for all non-normal attacks, so your skill casting, your ultimate casting. So overall, very powerful effect for these skill-based, ultimate-based nukers, and especially Talene probably for Dream Realm is going to be more viable. Okay, for the next one is for Shakir, Nara, Lenya, and Seth, so some other rogue heroes. Increase crit by 100 for the next 3 hits, and restores 140% HP per second over the next 6 seconds after the hero assists or defeats an enemy, excluding summons. Grants the hero control immunity and a 20% attack boost while this effect is active. So overall, I'm not a big fan of this effect because you need to kill an enemy or have an assist on killing an enemy to get this effect, and then you're only going to get the bonus crit for 3 hits, and then you will have some health. I guess the health recovery is pretty nice. It's a pretty overall. That will be 840% HP of your attack as HP recovery. And also have an attack boost while the effect is active for the 6 seconds. But when we're talking about Dream Realm, for example, you're not going to be killing enemies, and because it says excluding summons, so you're not going to be ever getting this effect in the Dream Realm. And Shakir right now, and Lenya even, for the new Dream Realm boss, these are going to be Dream Realm damage dealer heroes, and so this doesn't provide them with any improvement for Dream Realm, but for PvP, I guess it would make them stronger. Like Shakir, yeah, Shakir already has a lot of sustain. This is going to make him even more difficult to break through and deal with. And Lenya already pretty good option for PvP, and this is going to give her more survivability and also the crit. Lenya scales crazy off crit because when she lands a critical hit, she follows it up with a power kick or a super kick depending on if she's at her full potential, and that deals bonus damage and gets the stun. Okay, so moving on to the next one, we have this effect for Scarlita, Florabelle, Kruger, and Korin. This is an interesting one. Increases damage by 1.5% and physical and magical defense by 5% for every 3 seconds the hero remains in the battle. Increases damage by 9% and physical and magical defense by 30%, basically 6 times the previous provision, and when assisting or defeating a non-summoned enemy. The total increase from both effects is capped at 18% for damage and 60% for physical and magical defense. When the limit is reached, grants the hero an extra 25 haste for the rest of the battle. So not only will this be improving the damage of these heroes, it will also be improving their tankiness by a lot. 60% up to physical and magical bonus defense. And then at the final, when they reach this cap, they're going to have 25 haste. So for example, even if you're not getting a kill or an assist, for example, like if you're in the Dream Realm, then it will take you 12 times the 3 seconds in order to cap to the maximum here. So 36 seconds is going to take you from because 1.5% damage bonus every 3 seconds. So 36 seconds, which is times 12, will give you 18% bonus damage. So 36 seconds if you're not killing or assisting. If you're assisting or killing, all it can take even half that time, basically, because an assist or kill will cut this the duration in half, because you're going to be getting half of the max stats, which are 9% damage boost and 30% physical and magical defense. So for Scarlita, because she already is going to be in the air and she descends at around the 70-second mark when 20 seconds have passed, already she will have gotten 6 or maybe more of these boosts before she begins doing anything. And that's already going to give her 9% bonus damage dealt and 30% physical and magical defense. She'll be more difficult to kill. If she gets an assist or kill from that point, she's going to stack to the cap and get the 25 haste, which will give her the attack speed and skill casting more frequently. And for a Dream Realm, she will also, and even Korin, over the course of the fight, all it will take is 36 seconds to pass, and they will be at their maximum, having the haste buff. Already, Korin was a good damage deal for Dream Realm. This is going to make him even stronger. Florabelle was used in some Dream Realm bosses. This is going to make her stronger. And Scarlita, the thing is, overall, I think she might be a bit weaker, because before she provided the buff for your team, the damage and haste buff, which was really important. She will not be providing that anymore. This is only a buff for herself, not for the team. And so overall, I don't think Scarlita will be as strong as she is in the current season, because she won't be providing the team-wide buff. However, she will still be a fine option to run in Dream Realm, and for PvP content, this is potentially even better. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is also a strong one for Rainier and Ludovic, who are both meta Dream Realm heroes. Grants 30% attack boost for 45 seconds to the ally plays one tile behind the hero when battle starts. So now you'll always want to have Rainier in the configuration to have Rainier in front of your damage dealer who you are position swapping. If it's Lily May, if it's Mirael, Korin, OD, whoever it is, 30% attack boost is no joke for 45 seconds. And when this ally assisted defeats an enemy other than a summon, their attack is increased by an extra 6%, and the duration of the buff is extended 10 seconds. In Dream Realm, this won't come into play, otherwise this would get crazy. But in regular, like Supreme Arena, it makes Rainier more usable potentially for Supreme Arena, and definitely Ludovic is going to be great here. Because Ludovic is already a decent option for Supreme Arena, and this gives a really heavy attack boost to his ally. So this is going to be really great for Ludovic, and even potentially Nero will see more use, or more use in Supreme Arena. So overall very strong, and the Rainier buff will help for Dream Realm damage output, no question about that. 30% attack boost for 45 seconds is a lot. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have Diagonal Merrily OD, the Marksman, or dispels most debuffs and makes the hero untargetable for 3 seconds when HP drops below 35% for the first time. What's interesting, as soon as I think about 35%, I think about Nara's skill, because Nara's skill is when an enemy reaches below 40% health, if she's at her plus 15 exclusive equipment, then she will use Phantom Chains and draw that hero in. But it could be like the cast time of that draw and everything would cause then the hero to drop below 35%. And Phantom Chains itself, I think, would bring the hero's HP below 35%, and then they would be untargetable. So it would kind of counter the Nara Phantom, that effect of Nara, because 3 seconds untargetable can be enough, and then it grants the hero a 550% shield when the effect ends, so it won't be easy to burst through that hero, and the shield lasts for 6 seconds, during which the hero's life drain is also increased by 20 to sustain back up. So for the Dream Realm, this is not a strong effect, because merely you want to have an effect here which will boost their damage output. This is not increasing damage, this is just making them a little bit more survivable, which is not really what you want for a Dream Realm. For Supreme Arena, however, this is going to be better. OD is going to be less easy to nuke at the beginning of the fight, and Diurnal as well will be more protected and give him more time to cast his ultimate. So there's a strong buff for Supreme Arena, but not for, in my opinion, for Dream Realm, where you're going to want to have like a damage boost rather than these. Reduces damage taken by 25% and increases their energy on hit by 30 in the first 15 seconds of battle. So this is strong, however, it's only the first 15 seconds of battle. In Arena, or Supreme Arena, that is more than enough, because like battle is basically decided in those first 15 seconds, or getting close to being decided. But for example, for Dream Realm, this is overall not a very strong effect, because it is going to wear off after 15 seconds, and then you're left without any basically bonus from this. This is for Firestar and Entendre to make them tankier at the beginning of the fight. This is going to be good for AFK stages if you're using Entendre or Firestar. And for Supreme Arena as well, at the beginning of the fight, they're going to be more difficult to break through. Okay, next one, Mikola, Rowan, and Faye. Restores 60 energy per second. This is a pretty good one I like as well, until the hero reaches full energy for the first time. So they're going to even more rapidly fill up to that 1000 energy mark. I think Mikola already begins... Doesn't Mikola begin with 300 energy, or was that Lenya? I think Lenya is the one who began, but anyway, restoring 68 energy per second until the hero reaches full energy for the first time. Upon reaching full energy for the first time, dispel all control effects, grants control immunity for 6 seconds, and 25% and grant you 25% attack for 6 seconds. This is basically just going to allow Rowan and Mikola to get that first ultimate faster. And the thing with Mikola is if you're controlling the Honor Arena throughout the fight, then you're going to have the permanent Courage Sphere active if you have her Supreme Plus, and then it will get empowered faster, and that's going to be providing the haste and damage or range defense to your team. So this is going to make Mikola more effective even for Dream Realm to get her buff up quicker. In Rowan, this is going to make it more effective for Supreme Arena to charge your team's ultimates even faster than before. And also because they dispel the control effects, even if they're locked down, they'll be able, once they reach that full energy, it's like the Cascade spell, they'll just be able to cast their ability because it'll dispel the effects on themselves. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Well, we're nearing the end here. Deals an extra 240% damage when the hero hits a target. This effect can be triggered once per enemy every 6 seconds. This damage is increased to 360% for targets with HP below 35%. So this is going to be great for heroes who attack multiple enemies, because this effect can be triggered once per enemy every 6 seconds. So if you keep attacking multiple enemies multiple times over the course of the battle, you're going to get the maximum value of this. Burial is a hero who definitely does that, especially onto isolated enemy heroes. So this is going to be, I think this is definitely going to make Burial stronger than before. As for Walker Salazar, already they were not super competitive in like Supreme Arena or PvP content, so maybe this will make them a little bit better, but I don't think that it's going to make them top tier off of this. But Burial, I think, will be quite improved from currently what he is, and especially it's like almost like an execution as well. When they're below 35% health, the damage is increased to 360%. And as long as you're surviving, you can continuously get this off every 6 seconds on all enemies. Okay, looking at Igor, Valen, and Khafra. So Valen, Khafra, not very meta at all, but Igor is good for Supreme Arena. Increases attack by 30% for 8 seconds when the hero is displaced by their own skills. So this is Like, I mean, this is perfectly suited for Igor. It means that basically Igor is going to have a permanent uptime of 30% attack buff. Deals 280% damage to adjacent enemies when displacement ends. And each time a displacement ends, is he going to be dealing 280% damage to adjacent enemies? Because Igor jumps around the fight so much. Okay, I think that this is going to make Igor stronger than before. Already he was decent, especially in Graveborn Stroll teams. This is going to make him better. And the good thing is you can buy him from the Arena Emporium shop if you don't have him at Supreme Plus yet, in preparation for the Supreme Arena next season. Okay, next, increase damage dealt by 20% and grants 25 energy when attacking an enemy for each stat debuff inflicted on the enemy by a different caster. This is weird. Increases damage dealt by 20% and grants 25 energy when attacking an enemy for each stat debuff inflicted. Oh, okay, I understand. So it's about heroes which have stat debuffs onto enemies. Each time you hit them, depending on how many, the number of stat debuffs that you inflicted on the enemy, you are going to increase your damage dealt by a percentage. Oh, this is so strange. I'm not fully understanding it. So, if, for example, let's say there's an enemy hero, and you reduce their physical defense with Leica's skill, I don't know exactly what CC or Atlanta do, but let's say you've reduced their attack with Lucius, for example, and okay, so you have these true debuffs onto them. Now, is a damage increase only going to apply to these heroes, Atlanta, CC, or Leica? Probably, right? I don't think the whole team is going to have increased damage dealt onto this enemy, and that grants a bonus energy when attacking. So if it's only specific to the hero and increasing the damage dealt, the thing is CC and Leica are not known for their massive damage. If you would use them, it's mainly for the utility role, like Leica giving the attack speed buff to your team and physical defense reduction of the enemies, CC stunning the enemies or basically rooting them. Those were the major reasons you would want to run these heroes. So their damage, yeah, I don't think it's going to change much about the use. Maybe, I think, obviously, CCO and Leica will have more damage output than before, so maybe they would be more effective in Supreme Arena. Yeah, but from the wording, I am pretty sure this will only be applying to these three heroes themselves, and it will not be that your whole team will have increased damage dealt onto enemies who have a certain number of debuffs. So in that case, because already CC or Leica are not major sources of damage, I don't think this is amazing, but the energy gain can help them cast their ultimate cycle, their ultimates, which are their main factor why you would want to run them. But I don't think it's so, like, it won't change the meta too much about their use. Okay, we have Brutus here. Miss a shockwave every 5 seconds and reduces haste by 30 for the enemies within one tile for 5 seconds. Gains 15 energy for each enemy affected by the effect. Okay, so it's within one tile. So adjacent enemies will be afflicted by this shockwave, and it will reduce haste by 30 for 5 seconds. And every 5 seconds this will be applied. Gains 15 energy for each enemy effect. This is kind of strong. Like, it's making Brutus kind of a debuffer as well. Haste reduction is pretty good. Reduces their attack speed and skill casting frequency by 30%. Again, especially if there's a team of all mainly melee heroes who are going to be grouped around the Brutus, he can get a lot of value with this. I think it will even counter enemy Shakirs. It will reduce their haste. And gain 15 energy for each enemy affected by this effect, and it will allow Brutus to charge up his ultimate faster. So Brutus and Igor have kind of been buffed, and they're both arena purchasable in the arena shop, so it's something you could consider. Okay, Reese and Brian, the final two, increase the target's damage taken by 25%. So this is, based on this wording, now this target is going to be taking increased 25% damage from all sources. So this may make Reese powerful in Dream Realm, or maybe in Brian. Increase the target's damage taken by 25% for 8 seconds and reduce the target's vitality for 80 after dealing damage to that target 2 times. The effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds. I think Reese might be meta in Dream Realm, or usable, because the thing with Reese, and the reason why he has decent damage output, but that was all going for him. But if you're targeting this enemy and causing the boss to take 25% increased damage, that's the Rainier debuff, the level of Rainier debuff. Reducing vitality, that will just reduce the effectiveness of the heals and shields, which I don't think will apply really to the bosses, but it will apply in PvP content, of course. And also the thing is, Reese and Brian, they have ways of dealing AoE damage, hitting all of the enemies, and then all of their targets are going to be taking 25% increased damage for 8 seconds after you deal damage to the target 2 times. So you have to hit them 2 times, so that might be the difficult part in all of it, but the effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds, and for Dream Realm bosses, you would definitely be able to trigger this every 10 seconds. So I think Reese and Brian might have a place in Dream Realm as well. So overall now, there have been, based on these, what will be added in the new season, certain heroes are going to be stronger than before. And definitely more heroes are going to be viable in Dream Realm than before, which is interesting and it's a really good thing. So I really like this change that they have not completely eliminated like the idea of seasonal skills. They do still have these hero specific abilities, but they're unlocked through the charm system instead. And of course, shout out to Starlord from the AFK Analytica server for transcribing all of this information that we reviewed today. And yeah, once again, will be a link to the Analytica Discord if you want to check it out and follow that Discord. Okay, so anyway guys, let me know what you thought about all of these different magic charm bonuses which the heroes will be receiving in the new season. I think it's really cool, and it's going to give certain heroes like a breadth of new life in different game modes like Dream Realm and Supreme Arena, making them a little bit more effective and usable. So really cool. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be uploading more videos later today we'll do a Sinbad test on the Pioneer server, and then I have some other videos planned as well. But I wanted to get this out there because this is some important information, and it can help us plan for the new season on like which heroes to continue investing into. And yeah, so long story short, Talene is getting a huge damage buff. Rainier is getting more attack buff for your targeted damage dealer of your team. Thoran is getting an increased debuff onto the boss or to a single target to cause them to take even more damage. Reese and Brian will have a way of increasing the damage taken by a target by 25% for 8 seconds, and it can be triggered every 10 seconds. So it's not going to be a permanent because there will be 2-second downtime at least, but that still is really good. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.